Hey there, magnificent fire signs. This is your reading for the first half of June. So let's see what the universe wants you to know. Okay. So there's definitely some new opportunities coming in and contending with some boredom or understimulation. I will just do some oracle cards up the top as well just to ground it. Any of these cards can be found in the description below. This is the Sacred Forest Oracle, quite gorgeous actually. Okay, so you've got up the top here, protection, purification, and expansion. We'll just see how that relates. So to start off with, there's some progress that's been made, particularly around probably finances or material gain, or even finding your home, like where you want to live. So there's some good work that's been done. Maybe it's some project that you've launched, or just some crafts you've been doing as well, just to bide the time. But yeah, the Three of Pentacles here, it shows some good work that's being done with others. So there's a collaborative kind of energy. And the polka dots here on the costume do signify a sense of fun and enjoyment. So I'm hoping that you have been creative in that sense. And that's probably been quite protective to you as well. Maybe there's uncertainty in the air at the moment. I feel like there could be. And just coming back to the Oracle card, doing this kind of thing has been quite protective. It's almost like wouldn't call it a coping mechanism, but it's something that brings a bit of joy and magic to your life. Something that you can lean on at the moment and feel proud about. So that's definitely something that you've been putting energy into, and it's been holding you. We've got the Page of Cups next, which does signify building a better relationship with yourself. And typically this is self-love. But you know, it doesn't have to be boiled down to just that term. That term can feel quite abstract to some people, but it is a card of self-nurturance and establishing a connection to yourself, which then fills your cup up, so then you can fill other people's cup up. And that could be linked with this sense of reward that you've got from whatever enterprise project or working together with others that's been going on. So I do hope that you have been looking in the mirror lately and you know, feeling that you're okay with who's on the other side there, because you should be. Yeah, and this is a really important aspect of being an integrated being, is not being at odds with yourself. Obviously it comes and goes in waves. Typically that's with the water element here as well, but it shows you've been putting energy into that, which has hopefully been rippling out to other relationships as well. You've got the Ace of Pentacles next, and this card's typically the seed of potential. Could be anything yet, but there's something really exciting on the horizon that's brewing, and it's something that will sprout, and it's going to be something really worth the wait for. I feel like you have been biding your time waiting and protecting yourself in the meantime. Excuse the car. So moving on into the more present state, purification, and then we've got the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is typically a card of nostalgia, joy, and a sense of connection with the world around you in a really beautiful way. Do you know when you get that really lovely nostalgic wave, like a beautiful memory kind of bubbles up and it kind of harmonizes you? I feel like that might be happening for you in terms of moving through some difficult experiences that have happened, and rather than just locking onto the negative aspect, you're also now looking at how did that serve you, what did you learn, what was the gold in there. And it's interesting that for most people, when they think about the best times in their life, sometimes that is where there's been difficulty or challenges and they've overcome that. It's just something innate in us as humans. We do want to portray ourselves as having grit and being able to overcome and conquer things. And I don't mean conquer as in, full conquer, but when things are going super smooth, it's not like we remember them much, do we? So let yourself go back in time, if there are memories surfacing, and allow yourself to look at the good in that as well as the challenge. And I hope you really do feel proud of the growth and lessons that have been hard earned in that as well. So in the middle, this is the most central piece, and we've got the Eight of Wands here, which shows it is, the arrows of love, but it's also a quick, swift energy, and it usually takes people by surprise. So I think things are going to start to shift for you, and I say that as well because we've got the Two of Discs underneath that, which is all about change and trying to adjust and balance as you go. So some swift change coming up. It could be a renewed sense of inspiration or infatuation. Those words, might be the same thing, but infatuated with a new element in your life that's coming in, and feeling really G'd up, and there's a good current of energy that just comes naturally from you in that. So as you can see on this one, there's water underneath both of them, but this one's got quite a wavy, turbulent piece of water down here on the bottom, and he's trying to juggle. So with this speeding up tempo, do everything you can to stay in a grounded state, do all your self-care practices, and just keep yourself balancing as you go. And it will feel overwhelming at times with this Eight of Wands, with this new surge of change and adjustment. And this might not be a huge, for some of you it might not be a huge external change, it might be a lot of it's this internal shifting that's happening, which can create a new worldview, which is a wonderful thing, but that can also be a bit disturbing at times, and I feel that there's a little bit of a disturbance that can come with that change. But as best you can, take the wave, ride the wave while it's there, because that's life, it comes and goes, hey? So what you're moving into is expansion. So we've got the Spirit Guardian of Summer. So this is, heat, expansion, warmth. So there's definitely some shifting coming up, but it's interesting that directly below that we've got the Four of Cups, which is boredom or stagnation. Or maybe things are really comfortable, but you're sort of failing to see that there's something else on the other side for you that you do deserve. And sometimes because we haven't tasted that thing, we find it hard to acknowledge that we do deserve that, or if it's even possible. So he's sitting here, he's got 3 cups that he's obviously unimpressed with. And there's another one that the universe, or this cloud, symbolized by the cloud, is handing to him. And rather than looking at the new opportunity coming in, he's sort of looking at what he doesn't have. And there's a sense of disappointment there, or stagnation. For some though, this card could have been just that time of withdrawal and just focusing on your crafts and things that you love. So there is kind of a meditative element to this, but now that you're shifting into this Eight of Wands energy with this change, you're going to maybe have to give up some of that comfort for that forward movement and that expansion that you deep down want. This is deep work too, because coming off that we've got the Ten of Swords. So this is a card, it looks pretty intense, someone being, you know, slayed by these 10 swords, but what it symbolizes is a death to a way of thinking. So on a psychological level, this can mean really getting sick and tired of certain loops of thinking or stories or narratives or perceptions of seeing yourself or the way that the world functions. So it is quite a deep card and it's quite important. So it shows that maybe to get out of that sense of being in a rut and to actually move into that sense of expansion, you're really going to have to review some of the things that are just knocking on in your head, you know. The mind, sometimes when it doesn't have anything new to chew on, it just falls into the gutter. Yeah, so really let yourself purify that which doesn't serve you. And a simple way to do that is to remember to ask, does this thought support me in any way? Is this helpful? Is this thought helpful? Is this story helpful? If the answer is no, then it's up to you to release your grip on it and allow it to drop and come back to your felt sense and your heart, you know. Live there as much as you can, because the mind at the moment might be a bit compromised, and I feel that is from this inner work that you've been doing, which has been maybe a bit more closed in, but now it's time to step into that summer energy, that expansion, and allow the surges of change to happen. Your mind, however, might not like that. The ego part of the mind typically doesn't like change, so be aware of that. There'll be a part of you that really wants to change, the deeper part probably, but there'll be a more habitual side of you that doesn't. So your choice, but do as best as you can to let things fall away, let this psychological stuff fall away that you know deep down is a protective block. Served its purpose. Even say thank you to it when you notice it coming up again. That'll dissolve it in an honourable kind of way. But let yourself move into the Queen of Wands here, which she's above the clouds, so finally seeing clearly. There's a clarity, a sharp perception, and a bit of a bird's eye view on things. So Queen of Swords is a great card. There's a bird up there as well that's circling around. So it does show that there is this kind of elevation beyond the usual kind of loops or grinds that we've been caught up in. So that's really great. I love that for you at the end, moving into some more clarity. Alright, I'm just going to do some, speaking of clarity, I'm going to do some clarification cards just over the top. But this is looking really nice. I think you've done the groundwork and you're ready to make the shift, but there will be that tension of change that is always there. But it's good, you know, that's what we're here for. We're here to surrender old modes of ourselves and step into new. It takes courage, but being a fire sign, you've got no scarcity of that. So over the Three of Pentacles, we've got the Eight of Cups. So that typifies actually letting go of something that really wasn't feeling good and taking the higher road. It can have an element of sadness in it as well, because it's like this thing that used to be really interesting to you or engaging to you isn't anymore, and that can feel a little bit disturbing. So it might be the work you were doing or the craft you were doing and you're kind of over it. So let that kind of new doorway open, and it's okay to let that go for now. It might come back, the kind of juice in it or the charge in it might come back later anyway, but if it's not really hitting the spot anymore, it's not hitting the spot, so let that go. But with the Page of Cups, which is the self-love element, so it's been hard. It's been hard to sit in relation to yourself. So we've got the Five of Wands there, which is this card of strife or internal tension. And it's that kind of tension of things just being in conflict with each other. So that self-healing or self-relationship work that you've been doing is to bring different parts of you together that might have been at odds. It seems like you have been doing that, and that's why there's this new surge of energy that's going to come up for you with the Eight of Wands. So with the Ace of Pentacles, we've got the Five of Cups, which is a card that usually exemplifies sort of disappointment or things that were set up in your mind to go a certain way didn't work out the way you wanted. So our heart can feel heavy, and we can feel, I'm kind of getting the feeling here that, sort of a bit disconnected from that universal trust, maybe, as well. And so even though there's these seeds, which is Ace of Pentacles, there waiting to sprout, might have lost a bit of belief in them that they will. So yeah, I'm getting kind of a heavy feeling with that. And yeah, it's a really challenging place to be in when you lose faith in your own capacity to actualize new things for yourself or step into that new chapter that you want. So we'll just see what comes up with the Six of Cups, Ace of Cups, beautiful. So that was in your past though, and you have also already moved into this energy. So the Six of Cups was that nostalgic warmth, and you've got the Ace of Cups here, which is beautiful. I feel like you do want to deepen a connection with someone that is already in your life, or find a new person that will help fill your cup up. So this shows that it does link over to the Four of Cups as well, so there might be that boredom or withdrawal in there as well. So I'm sort of getting overall there's a sense of wanting more and letting yourself want more, especially on that emotional, heart-centered level. So I'd suggest, just having a feel about that. Like, who in your life do you want to deepen a connection with, or do you want new energy in your life? And there will be a part of you that does, and maybe a part of you that doesn't believe it's there or it's possible. So really try and sit with that aspect that is in disbelief or distrust, and surrender it as much as you can. Coming off the Eight of Wands, which was the heart of the reading, beautiful. Got the Ten of Cups, so that is the happy ever after. Don't want it to sound clickbaity, but it is a wonderful card. It just shows that there's a fulfillment and a sense of coming home with that. So it is linking over to the Ten of Swords, which was the card of letting go of that psychological, those stories or loops or thought patterns that you really know don't serve you and might be blocking you from reaching that fulfillment. So as these new opportunities or doors start to open, change is coming in, there'll be this resistance. Notice the resistance, try and even thank it, because it does serve a purpose. It has probably helped you, maybe eons ago. But if you thank it and notice it, you're miles ahead. It will literally, awareness dissolves things. So awareness plus love dissolves it even better. So really try and have that internal work going on while these changes are popping up. So going from the Two of Pentacles to the Queen of Swords, which was changed to clarity, beautiful star. My teacher said as soon as a star appears in the reading, it wipes away all negativity. So that's a really wonderful thing to finish off on. It's a card of hope, renewal, and trust in that cosmic plan that we all have, that sometimes we can feel it like so close to us, and other times it's a mystery. So let yourself feel that, even if it's walking outside and looking at the stars on a nice night, something that just teleports you out of your own habitual self and opens you up into that sense of being connected to something greater, whether that's sunset, beach. This card does link closely to nature. Nature's a wonderful way, and it does link with the having that summer card up there as well, even if it's not summer where you are. It's not summer here, but finding that beautiful sense of euphoria that comes from being in nature's abundance, you know, how it softens and calms and regulates the nervous system. So find some moments where you're in that, and that'll just help all of this process, particularly the surrendering of that psychological thought patterns that really aren't working for you anymore. So fire signs, I hope that was useful for you and you cherry picked out what you needed to. If you've got another element in your chart that's really predominant, so some fire signs might even have a lot of water in their chart, I'd suggest you go watch the water video as well. Thank you for watching. It's been great having you here.